Right, it's Pancake Day, so here's 3 different types of pancakes that you can recreate easily at home.
So the 3 styles of pancakes we're going to be making today are the British, the American and the Japanese or souffle pancake. So the first thing we're going to do here is start with the British. Absolute classic. Everyone should know how to make this. If you are the kind of person that's buying this stuff from the shop, then you need to have a word with yourself.
I've got a few pots here just to weigh stuff out.
I'm going to start by weighing out the flour, using plain flour for this one. It's a basic pancake mix, pretty similar to how you'd make a batter for a Yorkshire pudding. So in goes the plain flour. Lovely job, there we go. 110-ish, that'll do. Pinch of salt, very important. Always put a pinch of salt in your pancake batter, or any kind of batter for that matter. It's just a little bit of seasoning, it's going to help everything else. And then we're going to crack the eggs in, so just crack those on a flat surface and break them open, drop them in. We're going to incorporate the eggs into the flour first, and then once we've weighed out our milk, which we'll be doing right now, we're just going to add a little bit of the milk first and just whisk that into the eggs and flour mix. Just to incorporate that, just helps make sure you've got no lumps in the final batter. So a little bit of the milk in first, whisk that in, and then another bit more, and then a bit more, and get that all in. And then just add a little bit of butter to that as well, just to enrich in it, which is delightful. So I'm using a flat top griddle here. You could just use your normal non-stick frying pan, any decent frying pan, cast iron pan, that kind of thing, no problem. So there we go, ladle of the batter on the top. I'm just going to spread that around. Obviously if you're using a pan, you just roll it around in the pan. Delicious. She's looking good already. She does look a bit like a poppadom, but there we go. So that's had about a minute. We're just going to turn that over and just cook the other side. Obviously these are really thin, they don't take very long at all. Then we're just going to add some lemon on there and the absolute classic dusting of sugar. I mean, if you've never tried this, then I don't know what you've been doing all your life. And here we go. I'm going to fold that over into a nice little quartered shape. You can roll it up, you can do whatever you want with your pancake. A touch more lemon on the side. Now let's have a little try, see how she's looking. So you can see, obviously it's a thin pancake, it's a basic pancake. Nice, lovely job. I'll polish that one off. So next we're on to the Americans. These are obviously the lighter, fluffier cousins of our pancakes from across the pond. This one we're going to start off weighing our ingredients again. So this one is with self-raising flour. So that's basically just plain flour, but it contains some extra additional raising agents. And we're also going to add a little bit of baking powder to ours just to help with that rise and get a nice sort of aerated, fluffy pancake as it's cooking. In with a little bit of caster sugar. That's just going to help a little bit of sweetness in there as well, help it caramelise slightly when it's cooking. And then a pinch of salt again. Okay, so we've got our dry ingredients there. Next we're going to get the wet ingredients together. So first in goes 2 eggs and then the milk. There we go. And then a little bit of maple syrup. We are going to be adding some more maple syrup at the end, but let's have a little bit in the mix because why not? So we're going to whisk all the wet stuff together and make sure that's nicely incorporated, and then we're going to slowly add our dry mix and whisk that in until we've got a nice thick batter there. Meanwhile, let's get some smoked streaky bacon on the grill because we're going to want that. Nice, you can see the texture there, that's quite a thicker batter compared to the British or English style. And we're also going to add a little bit of melted butter into that one as well, again just for richness. Get that bacon flipped. Admire it for a second. Okay, next we're going to get the pancakes cooking, so on we go with those. So this mix will make sort of 6 to 8 pancakes, depending on the size, but you don't want to go too big with these things. About the size of the palm of your hand, that kind of thing. little bit more, up to you. So you can see the bubbles there, that's the raising agents in the self-raising flour and the baking powder we've added, just giving it that aerated, fluffy texture. A little check on that one, and then yeah, they're ready to flip, so away we go. Nice. And you can just see the thickness there compared to the previous. They're looking good. Let's take them, get them on a plate, get that crispy bacon on the top. Love it. And then you're going to want to absolutely drown these in maple syrup, trust me. So get it all on there, that's looking good. And now let's go in, have a little check. I'll show you a little cross section here just so you can see the difference. And there we go, so you can see the texture's different there. Nice fluffy pancakes, that's exactly what you want, and they're going to soak up all that maple syrup.
Can't beat that. Or can you?
So the Japanese pancake, also known as a souffle pancake, is very similar actually to how you'd make a souffle. So we're going to start off by separating our eggs, the yolks from the whites, so just like so. We've had a little accident there, no problem, we can just fish that out. Grab a spoon, as long as you don't pop the egg yolk, you don't want any egg yolk in your egg whites, otherwise you're going to struggle to whisk those egg whites into the meringue that we need. So get your egg yolks into a separate bowl. It's alright, the yolks have got a little bit of white in there, that's not a problem. The other way around, not so much. So get our egg yolks, and then we're going to add our milk to those. Just like that, that's close enough, that'll do. So there's the 3 egg yolks that we need in there, and there's also 3 whites in the bowl now, the other bowl. Just gonna have a quick wipe down, and then a few drops of vanilla extract. Get those in there. Again, we'll do similar to the last one. We're gonna have wet, dry ingredients separated, and then we're gonna add whisked egg whites at the end. So we've got our wet ingredients in one bowl at the back there. And now we're going to start with the dry, so we've got our flour, our baking powder and our salt in this bowl here that I'm spinning around. And then we're going to whisk those, make sure they are nice and mixed. And that's it, that'll do. Then we're going to slowly incorporate those and whisk those into the dry mix there. Make sure that's all nicely incorporated together. And that's going to form our base to the pancake batter here. And then the next step is we're going to be taking our egg whites at the back there, and we're going to be vigorously whisking those. If you have an electric mixer, then definitely use it. Just going to weigh out the sugar here, so we're basically taking these egg whites and we're going to make a meringue. So got the sugar ready weighed out there. I'm just going to start whisking those egg whites up. You can see they're getting a little bit thicker and foamier now, and when they're looking like that, that's when you add half the sugar. So add half the sugar in and then continue to whisk, and what we're looking for here is a soft peak, which is kind of how that just looked. And then we're going to go in with the rest of the sugar and keep whisking until we get a stiff peak, which stands up on its end like that. So we're going to add a third of that into our egg yolk base mix, and then we're just going to fold that in. So you want to cut and fold, don't beat it, you don't want to beat all the air out of that, but you do want to get it incorporated. So we just add a third, get that in there, and then we're going to add the second third, and again just go under and over and fold that in. Nice, she's looking silky and smooth. And then the final third, I'm going to get that in there, and again just fold it. You don't have to go fast, just nice and gentle. You just want to turn it on top of itself, and and just avoid trying to beat air out of it. You're not looking to sort of mix here, you're just looking to sort of turn it over. And that's it, so that's looking good. So to go with our Japanese souffle pancakes, I'm going to show you a quick chocolate sauce you can make with stuff that you should have in the house. Cocoa powder goes in first, then we're going to add some sugar and water and basically just bring that up to a boil, get it nicely mixed, make sure there's no lumps in there, use a whisk again, and then we're going to whisk in some diced cold butter, and that's just going to slowly melt into there, and it's going to emulsify and just richen the sauce up and thicken that up as well. Which is going to be great. So yeah, that goes on the heat, bring that up to the boil, which it is there, and then again, like I said, just get your diced butter in there, whisk it in. Fantastic. It's going to be so much better than any chocolate sauce you buy from the shop. Pinch of salt, it's just going to season that. It's going to actually make the chocolate sweeter, and that sounds strange, but that's how that works. It's just seasoning. Okay, so I've turned the grill down for these ones. It's a really gentle cook, so you want your gas or your hob set on the lowest possible heat, and then get those on there. I'm going to set a little timer for 3 minutes. I'm going to be checking them quite regularly. So after about 1.5 minutes, I'm going to take this off and just pop another scoop on the top. So the bottom bit's actually already formed, and it's got a nice little skin around it so it can support a little bit more going on the top. And obviously I'm just going to cover those back over with my cloches there. I'm going to add a spritz of water, just create a bit of steam. That's going to help these things cook nicely. When you're cooking these at home, just make sure you've got a tight fitting lid to go on your pan. And there we go, take those off after about another minute. And I'm just going to absolutely destroy this one, as you'll see. There we go, but that's okay. Accidents happen, and then that one's looking a lot better. All good. We're going to pop the timer back on another couple of minutes, and then we're going to come back to them, and you can see they've risen up quite nicely, and that's souffle effect. So what's happening there is all the air that we whisked into our egg whites is creating tiny little micro bubbles, and then when these are cooking, the sort of steam in the bubbles causes the expansion, it causes the rise. It's similar size to how a souffle works in the oven. So there we go, we've got those on the plate. And I have a nice little dust of icing sugar over the top, because why not? And then we're going to take some of our chocolate sauce that we made earlier and just drizzle that around in a very provocative manner. Fantastic. So a little check again, let's have a little look inside, see what these are looking like. Yeah, nice, you can see the texture there, it's very different, a lot fluffier, a little bit soft in the centre, which is okay. And then I'm obviously going to absolutely demolish that. Okay, that's it, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.